What we're doing in 1.3 is we're going to be solving what are called literal equations. Now what that means is we're not going to be able to actually solve completely for x. We're not going to get an exact answer, x equals 2. Instead what we're going to get is x equals, and it's going to be an expression because there's going to be multiple variables. But it's just the same idea. Use algebra to get the variable they're asking for all by itself. So look at this problem. If I said to you solve for y, that means get y by itself and you're done. So what would I do? No, look at that. Minus 2x, right, everybody? Minus, this is plus sign here. Minus 2x, minus 2x. So then we get y is equal to negative 2x plus 13. Would it have been appropriate to write 13 minus 2x? Yes, but I just like to write it in standard form, highest to lowest degree. All good. That's your answer. See how you can't solve, but you can solve, but it's an expression. Okay, solve for y. What would I do? Minus 4x. So then we have 2y equals negative 4x plus 20. Then what? Divide by 2. Divide by 2. Now don't be that person that goes 20 divided by 2 is 10. Okay, yes, but what else was divided by 2? The 4 and the 20 are divided by 2. I do want your answer simplified if possible. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2x. 20 divided by 2 plus 10, and there's your final answer. Pretty straightforward, right? Let's do a little bit more advanced ones. Okay, solve for y. Just because it looks uglier doesn't mean you just piece by piece get y by itself. So first, a lot of people will do things like subtract 4e, but you can't. Isn't all this stuff divided by 7? Then we need to take care of the divide by 7 first. So what would I do? Times by 7, right, everyone? Now, technically, I'm timesing both sides, but it divides out. 7 divided by 7, right? So now rewrite what you have. You have 2z minus 3y plus 4e equals 7 smiley face. Get y alone. What would I do? Subtract 2z and subtract 4e. Can't I hit 2 birds with 1 stone? So now I have this, negative 3y is equal to 7 smiley minus 2z minus 4e, and we have one final step. Divide both sides by negative 3. Now understand, if you check your answer in the back, you might say, well, my answer's wrong, because if you look right there, that's not what the back of the book's answer would look like. Because it's really not considered simplified to keep a negative in the denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that negative upstairs. But I've got to make sure to distribute it to each term. So my final answer we would write as negative 7w, negative 7 smiley face plus 2z's plus 4e's. You guys see how I just pulled the negative to the top and distributed it all over 3, and that would be better. Questions on that? Okay. Okay, here we go. Solve for big D here. Get big D alone. First step. I get rid of the 1/3. How do you get rid of 1/3? Times by? Can we times by 3, everybody? This is divide by 3. So I'm going to times by 3 times by 3. So what do I have here? 6p equals, that's gone. We have x, big D plus little d. Get big D alone. Probably best to just divide by x. This group. Do we need to switch half of you into Jones' class? Focus. Divide by x. So then we have 6p divided by x equals big D plus little d. Then what? Minus d. So we would write 6p over x minus d equals big D. Are we good with that? Okay, good. Okay, solve for x. Now notice there's x little 1, big X. Don't overcomplicate it. Solve for this X. Get this blue X all by itself. First step. If we times by B, then we're going to have an issue because what about this? Does that make sense, everyone? Because you can't just times a piece of a side by B, so we would be ignoring this. So we first need to subtract C, right? T minus C equals AX1, X over B. Now what? Times by B, but now don't I need parentheses here? Yes, because you're timesing that entire side by B. So we have B t minus c, if these are gone, equals ax1x, and last step, a and x1. Won't that get rid of it, everyone? Divide by a and x1. And then we've reached our goal. X is all by itself. You just piece by piece get the variable alone. Being very careful. Okay. Almost finished here. Okay, solve for y. People see squares and they like freak out. Do not. This didn't even say anything about g. Did it say anything about g? No. So just solve for y. Now notice this one I would write down if I was you. You're going to see something interesting happen on this one. So first of all, notice there are two y's. So the question is, well, when this happens, which y are we solving for? So this is how we're going to tackle it. We need there to be only one y. There are two y's. So when this happens, if you have two variables that you're trying to solve for, the same variable, what you're going to do is get everything with that variable on one side of the equation, and anything that doesn't have that variable in it on the other side of the equation. So notice I need to have all my y's on one side. So I'm going to subtract 2y. So now I have this true statement. Negative b plus g squared equals cy minus 2y. Does everybody understand? Now the goal is to get everything with a y on one side of the equation and anything that doesn't have a y on the other side, which we've done. So now what I can do is look at these two terms. In this term and this term, there is a y in common, correct? So what I can do is factor out a y. That's what I'm going to want to do. So factor out a y. Now when I factor out a y, what I've done is I've divided out my y right here. So divide out y, divide out y. What's left in my parentheses? C minus 2. Do you guys see how now we have only one y? So we have negative b plus g squared equals this. Well, look how nice it is. What's your goal? To get y alone. So now what would I do to get y alone? One step. Divide by c minus 2, right? Divide by c minus 2. Divide by c minus 2. And y is all by itself. We've reached our goal. I would make a note to myself, study for exam, right by that problem. So what do we do if we have the same variable twice that we're trying to solve for? Get on one side of the equation, right? Factor it out. Yes.
Could you just divide the c and 6 by the 1y and then combine y and 2y?
So if you divide by c, you got to divide this entire side by c. So that would get rid of that, but now you have negative 2y over c. Does that make sense? Because you can't just decide to do this by c because you got to do it to both sides. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great question. So really, guys, this is going to be how we tackle it every time. Yes. What are we solving for? That's just a variable. Great question. So since we're just solving for y, this is just like having an a. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter that it's squared. It's like g times g. Yes. Great question. Okay. All right, solve for x. What would I do? This is not a trick question.
Yeah.
Divide a minus 7. Divide a minus 7. All good?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, so let's look at this quick story problem. Story problems are not scary. Look, this is literally asking us to do the exact same thing. It says, the surface area A of a right circular cylinder is given by this formula. And it's not a very pretty formula, but that's okay. It says where R is the radius and H is the height. Now look at part A. Solve the formula for H. Is that asking us to do anything hard? No, just because there's words in it doesn't make it a hard problem. So if we need to get H alone, what would we do? Subtract 2 pi r squared. So on this side I have A minus 2 pi r squared equals 2 pi r h, yeah? You're trying to get h alone, keep your goal in mind. What would be my last step? Divide by 2 pi r. Divide by 2 pi r. Now h is all by itself. There we go. Now would it be appropriate to go? No, you can't do that across a subtraction sign, people. Isn't a also divided by 2 pi r? then you can't divide across in a subtraction sign and pretend like it wasn't. So stop, that's the end. You can't do that. You cannot divide across a subtraction sign. Done. So in part B, it says determine the height of a right circular cylinder with a surface area of 72 pi square centimeters, whose radius is 4 centimeters. Look what it did for us. Determine the height. Don't we already have our true statement for height? So what would we do? We would take our area, which is 72 pi, so 72 pi minus 2 pi, our radius is 4 squared, all over 2 pi times 4. That's our height. Let's simplify this. 72 pi minus 16 times 2. 32, right, everyone? So we have minus 32 pi all over, what's the bottom? 8 pi. Now what should I do? Combine my terms in the top. 72 minus 32 pi's. 40 pi's, right, everyone? So on top we have 40 pi's, on bottom we have 8 pi's. That's equal to our height. What's 40 divided by 8? 5, and our pi's divide out. Height equals 5. Do you guys see how it wasn't hard? It was just plugging it in. All right, good job, everybody. Hey, that's the end of 1.3, so you have about 6 minutes where you could work on a little bit of homework or ask me questions.